Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Wow equals Words of Wisdom number 4. Words create your environment. What type of environment are you creating? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves each and every day. I'm going to go down a little list of statements and phrases. And let's see if you recognize any of these statements, or maybe you've even said them out of your own mouth or heard other people say them. I'm sick and tired of this happening. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I can't win for losing. I'm a day late and $1 short. I'm broke. I'm never going to get anywhere in life. Have you heard some of those statements? I ain't got no job. It sounds kind of like, what's wrong with these statements? But when you're saying these things, these words, you're speaking these words over your life and into your life. And each time you're saying them, they're creating an environment around your life. Shalom, Miss C. Picks. Good morning. You're creating an environment around your life. Every time you say one of those types of phrases, I can't win. You just created an environment. When you speak those types of words over, other people, you're creating an environment around those people. And so we have to, be very, very careful about the words that we're saying out of our mouths, because when we're saying those words in the spirit realm, you are activating something. And before something is manifested in the natural realm, the realm that we see, it is already set in motion, and it starts to function in the spirit realm. And this is something that a lot of people don't want to really deal with. They just think that they're, words are just words. But there is not a word that falls lifeless to the ground. There isn't. It's either going to bring something forth that is positive, that is righteous, that is good, or it's going to bring something forth in your life or manifest something in your life that is, evil, that is unrighteous, or that is bad. Because each time we say something, either, a messenger of Yah gets set in motion, because maybe you have said something that is in line with scripture and in line with his will. So they start with creating an environment that is righteous within your life, and things start manifesting in your life that line up with scripture. Or you're saying something that goes away from scripture, goes away from the will of the Most High, and you start seeing, instead of the promises of scripture being manifested in your life, you start seeing curses manifested in your life because of what you said out of your mouth. And now that environment is being created. So we have to be very, very, very careful about what we're saying out of our mouths. Every time we say something, we're building an environment. We're building that brick. And we've got to understand. A lot of times you're like, why is this happening? Why is this happening in my life? How did I get here? It's something that you said. It's something that you said out of your mouth. Remember, life and death is in the power of the tongue, and you're going to eat the fruit thereof. Okay. So we've got to remember um, not to create an environment around ourselves and around other people that is going to be demonic, that's going to be negative, that's going to manifest things in our lives that are curses, and that are going to be opposite of what we want manifested in our lives. We have to watch what we say. Now, let me give you an example. This happened a long time ago in my life, but two examples actually. Um, this is when, very early in our marriage, and my husband had just gotten out of the military. And so when you get out of the military, he didn't retire out. He just finished his time and, he got out of the military. So he, got jobs at first, but they weren't paying a whole lot of money. But I was, instead of really depending and putting my trust in the Most High, I had my trust in, you know, the job that he had, and, looking for that security in other things, in other places, instead of realizing and really embracing and understanding and believing and having my total trust in the Most High as my provider, as my source. Okay. And so he had an opportunity to do something called TAD. And those of you who are in the military, you understand all of this language. But he could work for a limited amount of time, as if he was in back in the military, like full time, and he would get his regular rate of military pay for a certain amount of time. And because of the fact that he was in the reserves, he was able to do that. And I was like, no, don't do that. You've got a job now. You got to stick with that job. And he was like, but I can make some more money over here, and this will help us as a family. And I was like, no, but this is your job. And it really wasn't paying him a whole lot of money. Most of the money was being taken up in paying insurances and things of that nature. And so he was trying to tell me, he was speaking, what was going to help us. And I kept coming back and saying, no, we're not going to do this. And I started flipping out. And I just started, kind of crying and screaming, and I lost it, needless to say, to the point that the environment around me, and it was some other people, was a pastor. We were at our pastor's house at that time. And the words that I was saying out of my mouth, when I look back on it now, they were words of fear, anxiety, women, we can be like that because we want to be secure. And so it literally changed the environment, not only around me, but also for the people that were listening to that conversation. And so I had my infant son in my hand at that time. And because I had talked myself into a level of hysteria, and the pastor's wife took my child away from me, okay, and was trying to get me to calm down because I had spoken all of these things, about our situation, about my husband's, employment situation. And my husband finally just said, okay, you got it. I'm going to do what you say. And, and I was like, okay. And, everybody was just kind of like, oh my gosh, she just freaked out. So he went on back to work and this, that, and the other. And lo and behold, not too long after that situation happened, he came home and he said, I want you to sit down. I never got to laugh about it now, but it wasn't funny to me then. And he said, today was my last day at work. And I looked at him and I was like, and he said, go ahead, you can cry. He said, you can go ahead and cry. You can go ahead and cry. And I was like, tears just started rolling down my face. And in that moment, I knew that I had messed up because of the fact that the opportunity that he had to make more money and, help us financially as a family had passed, because he told them he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to go to TAD. And I just remember feeling so bad because of my words. He did what I said, and that opportunity passed by. And, it came around again. It did come around again. And when it did come around again, I was like, go for it. Go for it. I was like, go for it. Because of the fact that I did not want my words to hinder what the Most High was trying to bring into our life, the finances that he was trying to flow into our lives. But my belief and my trust was not there. And so I had to learn over time to stop speaking words of death and fear that created that environment and created that platform in my life. Another time I came home from work stressed out, and I was standing in my kitchen, and I said, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I just, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out. I'm going crazy. I think I'm losing my mind. And my husband turned around to me and he said, stop it. He said, you're not crazy and you're not losing your mind. So he stopped me from creating an environment around myself. He stopped me. He stopped my words. I'm so thankful for my husband because he's very boom, matter of fact, and very blunt. But that's what I needed in that moment, because he stopped me from setting something in motion in the spirit realm that was going to manifest itself in my life in the physical realm, that was not going to be good, that was not going to move me forward in life. And he gave me like a, verbal slap in the face, like, get a hold of yourself. And so we've got to be so very careful and realize that our words carry weight. We've got to be careful about what we speak over other people's lives, what we say to and about our children, what we say to and about our marriages and other relationships that we're in, whether the person is around or whether they're not around when you say it. You're still speaking words in and over and around their lives. And next thing you know, in the spirit realm, people are, those angels and those demons are getting prepared to carry out what you said. So we've got to get a hold of our tongues. We've got to realize that every single word that we're saying out of our mouths is creating an environment that will manifest itself in our lives, in the physical realm. If you're constantly saying, oh, you make me sick, or she makes me sick, and next thing you know, you're sick. If you're constantly saying, oh, I'm broke, and that you're never doing anything not to be broke, you're going to continue to be broke. I stopped saying that. If I didn't have the finances for something, instead of saying, oh man, I'm broke, I started saying, that's not in my budget at this particular time. If you don't, have a job position at this particular time, instead of you saying, oh man, I don't have no job, instead of saying that with that attitude behind it, just say, I'm in between positions right now. There's a way to say it. Because when you say I'm in between positions right now, that means that you're no longer with that position, but you're getting ready, you're moving to the next one. That means that you're creating an environment that is positive in your life. And if something didn't work out for you in the particular time, and say, you know what? I missed that opportunity. Instead of saying, I can't win, and say, you know what? I missed out on that opportunity, but I'm going to make sure that I put myself in position to recognize the next opportunity when it comes. See, there's a way that you have to speak. You got to change your vocabulary. You got to change your vernacular. You got to change your words. Now, if you're speaking profanity, if you use a lot of curse words in your life, you know, those four-letter words, and you think it's okay to curse, especially if you're a child of the Most High Yah, those are words of death. Those are profane words. You've got to change the way that you're speaking. You're speaking death, into your life and into the lives of other people. And behind those words, there are spirits behind those words. So think about these things. I used to tell my students, when I was working in the public school system, that there were certain words they were not allowed to say in my classroom because they created negativity. They brought in a spirit of negativity. I said, you got to leave that outside. Because I knew they were going to do it when they got out there. But I said, you got to leave that outside. You cannot bring that in here at all. And I wouldn't allow them to call each other, names. I wouldn't allow them to call each other dumb and stupid and retarded and all that kind of stuff. I stopped them from doing it. And that way you had a different environment. I had a different environment in my classroom, in which for me to work in and teach in and for them to learn in. So think about that today. Words create your environment. What type of environment are you creating for your life, for your marriage, for your children, for your family, for your workplace, for your business, for your neighborhood, whatever you're associated with, whatever you're, partnered with, whatever you're connected to, what type of environment are you creating with your words? It's very, very important. So I just want to thank you for joining me for WOW equals Words of Wisdom number 4. And with that, I will leave you with shalom. And I hope you have a positive, powerful, and productive day. I'll see you next time.